Let's complete your self-assessment tax return. Episode 1, we are going to do the employment pages. We're going to go through who needs to complete, where you're going to find the info from, and then we'll do the expenses, what you can have, what you can't have. Who's going to be completing these pages is going to be anybody with an employed job, or if you're a company director who takes a small salary. First up, we need to find your P45 or P60. P45 is going to be issued if you left employment during the year, so it'll have been issued to you by your ex-employer. P60 issued at the end of the tax year by your employer. The information that you need to fill in this section, very self-explanatory, and that P45 or P60 is going to have all the info you need. You're just literally doing a transfer of information. Nothing too much to be said there. Next, we have untaxed benefits from your employment. So if you had any of these, you'll have been given a P11D form. These are on the way out, so I'm not going to waste a load of time on here. Most commonly, it will be people with company cars. Again, your employer is going to give you all the information you need, or your accountant, and you're literally putting the number in the box. It's very simple stuff. So employment expenses, this section is only going to be relevant to people who are sort of truly employed. So you're not a company director who's just taking a small salary. If you're a company director, most of our costs are coming off our company anyway. So we don't usually have anything to put in this section of our tax return. So this is more for people who have a kind of 9-to-5 job. So let's have a look at what we can claim, what we can't claim, and make sure that we're getting all them tax deductions that we deserve. Let's go through the general rules. So we can only claim these expenses if we've used our own money to buy these things and they're being used purely for our job. Your employer must not have given you the money back for the item, so they can't have reimbursed you for that item, or provided you with an item and you decided you wanted something else. So say my employer provided me with some work boots to go onto a building site and I decided I don't like them particular work boots, I want to buy some different ones. That's fine, but you can't have a tax deduction for that. So what you can have is travel and overnight costs. So say you were going to a conference, it was miles away from your house, you're having to stay overnight in a hotel. Of course, you're going to have meals in that hotel. You can have a tax deduction for all of that as long as your employer hasn't reimbursed you. But what you cannot have is your normal commute costs, so to your regular workplace, everyday lunch when you're at your regular workplace, or items you've bought from home on the trip. Working from home, so this is not flexible working. And by that, I mean it's not if your employer has said you can work from home 4 days a week, come in 1 day a week, but you have that office available to you all the time, basically. This is for people who can't go into an office. They don't have an office available to them. Maybe they live 10 hours away from their office, or maybe there just isn't an office. That is for these people. I know a lot of people get excited about this working from home cost. I mean, it's quite small, so I feel like we don't need to get too wound up about it. Uniform, work clothing, and tools. This includes the washing of this specialist uniform. So it's not replacing clothing with preferred items, so like I described, or tools with preferred items. So I don't know if I'd been given a certain tool to do my job with, I wanted a different one. Maybe I'd been given a laptop that I didn't like and I decided I wanted to buy another laptop, I couldn't have a deduction. Then it's not uniform washing elsewhere when facilities are available. So maybe your employer has a washing machine facility and you decide you will just do your washing at home because it's easier, then you can't have a tax deduction for using your own washing machine. Clothing with no logos on. So maybe your employer has asked you to dress all in red when you're working for them. You need to ensure that you have the company logo on that clothing, and then you can get your deduction. If you don't have it, you can't have a deduction. Professional fees and subscriptions. This is the category that most of us are going to have something claimable in, particularly if you are a professional. So I'm thinking doctors, nurses, lawyers, we all have to be in professional bodies in order to do our jobs. Them subscriptions are really expensive. I know mine can be like over £1,000 a year. So make sure you are taking that tax deduction for them. You are not allowed union fees. Now, I think it's probably only doctors and nurses who are in unions. Let me know any questions or comments, and I will see you in part 2.